I think defensively, we know we need to revamp defensive line, maybe linebacker. I guess it depends on how you feel about guys like JOK and if Taki's going to come back. Offensively, I've heard receiver, that kind of thing. Is there any free agent targets, or I've even heard, possible guys like we could maybe trade for in terms of, I've heard DeForest Buckner's name thrown around. I don't know if that's a realistic possibility. Is there anybody you got your eye on?
I talked that DeForest Buckner thing out of thin air. But yeah, DeForest Buckner. DeForest Buckner's one where I'm like, hey, that makes sense because I don't know where Indy thinks they're going, right? Now, some teams think they're going in a positive direction when they're not. I don't know where Indy thinks they're going, right? I think they're in a point where they need to go full rebuild, and DeForest Buckner would be sitting there. Wouldn't make sense for them to have at 29 at the cap hit that he is. So I think it would make sense to go after him. And I don't think the Browns are thinking of every defensive tackle as just a defensive tackle. I think they're thinking of them as a complementary piece to Myles Garrett, right? Because they're losing their last complementary piece in Jadeveon Clowney for obvious reasons. So if you're not going to have Jadeveon Clowney, who do you replace him with? We're going to instinctively think edge because Jadeveon played edge, but maybe they want to go in a different direction where DeForest Buckner is the complement to Myles Garrett, or the guy that's going to get some attention off of him. You don't really need somebody on the opposite side to take quote unquote attention. I love how it's phrased, like take attention off Myles Garrett. Unless you could clone Myles Garrett and put Myles Garrett on the other side of Myles Garrett, nobody's taking attention away from Myles Garrett. It can be TJ Watt on the other side. Guess where protections are sliding? Towards 95, because that's who people believe is the most dominant defensive end in football. So you're not necessarily going to take attention away from them, but what you can have is somebody who can break the game if they're given more opportunities in in one-on-one situations, and that's what DeForest Buckner can bring you, right? Jadeveon was not that. Jadeveon was somebody who could help you in a run game and create some pressures, but he wasn't going to break the game there for you. DeForest Buckner has shown to be that, right? He worked great opposite of Nick Bosa in that 2019 San Francisco 49ers defense. I think that's more or less the way that they're going to go. And I think that's what they've learned is they tried to go to traditional sense where it's like, hey, we're going to put another big edge across from Myles Garrett, and that's going to split the attention. Some dudes are so good that you're never going to split the attention. Like Baltimore is always kicking three over to Myles Garrett. It don't matter who's healthy. That's what they're doing. The plan for Myles is the plan for Myles. So you need to have something to where somebody else can affect the game so much to where in the middle of the game, they have to go, oh, we got to do something about this. Maybe take a guy off Myles. And then that's where you can start to break some offensive lines is when they have to do mismatch in the middle of the game. But that's what I would look for. DeForest Buckner would be fine there. Daron Payne's been thrown around. I don't think he fits the mold in what they're looking for, to be honest. He's a really good player, but I don't think DeForest Buckner makes more sense there than Daron Payne to me. They could go the veteran route where they go like a Dalvin Tomlinson and just try to fill this up with guys. I wouldn't be surprised if the edge rushers that aren't Myles Garrett get smaller, right? Arden Key is somebody I think that could be a real target for the Browns. Smaller, quicker guys, kind of similar to how they used Tack McKinley for like those 4 weeks that Tack was on the team where he played well, and kind of use him as an extra, 5 wide rusher. So again, they're moving to that wide 9 too. That's another Jim Schwartz staple. So you're going to have guys outside of tight ends now, instead of inside tackle, inside guard. So that's going to change the body composition of what you're looking for on the edge. So I think lighter edges and bigger guys in the interior is where they're going to focus in on. And remember, you look at Jim Schwartz defenses, you're talking about really big power ends and 3 techs, Javon Hargraves. We're talking about Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh in Detroit. That's what traditionally works there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they really try hard to get somebody like a DeForest Buckner to pair with Myles, because given what they've run before in that defense, that's what would make the most sense when it comes to trying to replace the attention that Jadeveon has with somebody else. I think DeForest might be somebody they want to look at.
I would be pumped for DeForest, for sure.